Hello and welcome back to NoBS. Today we're talking about the famous Domino's story. Domino's is in the news this week because they recently came under fire by a certain never Trumper named Rick Wilson. Rick Wilson is a very terrible political guy who's appeared on CNN and these other outlets just to bash Trump. He's kind of this rhino Republican in name only who they bring out to make comments about Trump and try to show that there's conservatives that don't like him. It's a very cheap tactic and it's resulted in some funny memes. Rick Wilson was actually part of that time where they were on CNN making fun of Americans, saying middle Americans were all dumb rednecks. They did this little, hey, I'm American. They did this stupid little voice making fun of us and trying to like basically bash half of the country and also exposing themselves as these kind of elitist, showing how CNN and these people think they're better than everyone else. And they don't really care about Americans and the whole country. They're just more about themselves and getting the liberals into power and giving money to the people on top. But that's besides the point. Today we're talking about Domino's, Rick Wilson, and Trump and how this whole story came to be. It all basically started when this Wilson guy, this never Trumper, found a tweet. He dug up this really old tweet. I'll go ahead and show you right away. It's right here. And it says, Rick Wilson tweeted, "You just killed your brand, hashtag ETTD." I'm not sure what that is, but he digged up this old Domino's tweet from 2012. And it's in response to Kayleigh McEnany. She's now currently the White House press secretary, but 8 years ago, she was hardly that. In fact, she wasn't even working for Trump back then. She was just some kind of intern in an office, in a political office somewhere, still working her way up, still doing great work. But I mean, she's young. 8 years ago, she was in her early 20s. We're not talking about someone that's had a long, storied career. We're talking about an up and coming political person that is currently the press secretary. And now Rick Wilson is kind of time traveling. He found this tweet where she complimented Domino's. So the tweet is Domino's saying thank you to Kayleigh for complimenting them. I believe what she said was Domino's pizza is better than anything else in New York. She was giving Domino's this compliment. And then Domino's responded, "Thanks, that's heck of a compliment. Thanks for the love." I mean, there's nothing really offensive here. There's nothing wrong with this. And the fact that they wanted to come back after them because of something silly said 8 years ago is just the most ridiculous thing. And then the story actually has legs. We've got more to go over here. Let me first read the response here. If you take my camera off for a moment, it says, "Well, it's unfortunate that thanking a customer for a compliment back in 2012 would be viewed as political. Guess that's 2020 for you." Yeah, that's a great point. Domino's is chiming in, giving you the real take on this. And it just goes to show that, yeah, they are just making this political when it really didn't need to be. Like, it really didn't need to have this whole tint to it. But Rick Wilson is a desperate anti-Trumper. He's a very negative guy. He has no life, and he's just getting owned over and over again because of this story. It's actually got more to it because now what happens is, and what he doesn't realize is when you do something like this, when you dig things up and you kind of be this kind of PC police person, like just kind of word policing people and stuff, that invites it to happen to you. So now that it's going to happen to Domino's and Kayleigh McEnany, Rick Wilson has some skeletons in his closet as well. That's what our next tweet shows you. It says right here, it's from Donald Trump Jr. It says, "Don't worry, Domino's. It turns out the only brand canceled today is the brand of Rick. The South will rise again, Wilson." And then here's a tweet from Caleb. It says, "Hey, Rick Wilson, not sure if you realize, but your wife posted this on Instagram. May want to delete that one too." And it's a picture of Rick's wife, and she has this Confederate themed cooler. I mean, it's very, very, not a big deal to me. Like, I'm not really concerned about coolers and certain flags being offensive, but this is something that the leftists would call wholly offensive. They want to remove anything having to do with this image. And the fact that they have it on their cooler is very frightening. It's like, why? Whoa, dude. Like, are you a racist now? And then here's Rick Wilson's kind of definition in the corner. It says, "Ad guy, dissident, New York Times bestseller, author, Lincoln Project, get running against the devil." So he's obviously in with the New York Times. He's some kind of author. He claims to be a conservative, and he's just really a never Trumper that's got this kind of negative thing going on. And like we said, this thing keeps going. Here's the Caleb guy, and he actually got some DMs over this incident because he was one of the ones quoting and digging up the Rick Wilson stuff and sharing it. He says, "Oh, you thought the saga was over? Nope. Rick Wilson's wife continued to DM me, then admitting that the photo of the Confederate cooler was not fake as she previously claimed. After I responded, she blocked me." And then we got some images of the tweets, a lot of conversation here. I'm not sure we need to read all of that. And then here's Caleb again. Hi, Rick Wilson in Florida, Molly. The last photo of your Confederate cooler that you claimed was fake just magically disappeared off Instagram, but I wouldn't want you to lose it, so I archived it for you. So here's a picture of the cooler. Again, it's over here on the side. It's somewhere in there. Apparently they're moving or something. And then there's a picture of Trump clapping. You got to love that response. There's the Florida Molly chick blocking people. Live by the sword, die by the sword. Yeah, that's the point here, is that if you go after and be this kind of negative, kind of oh, let's dig up Domino's old tweets, like, oh my God, I'm so smart, I found this Domino's old tweet. Well, that's going to happen to you, and you're probably not going to have a squeaky clean past. I don't think anyone does, but usually these people, they have worse things in their past than the others. Like they think that this is a cute idea because they know they have dirt under their feet as well. Who's the man? You're the man. Pure gold. Your contribution to cancel culture is noted. Some people are calling that cancel culture. I think that's a joke, but like we said, I mean, this isn't really canceling. Like, we're not trying to be pro-cancel. No one's asking like Rick or Molly to get their counts lost or anything like that. We're just pointing out the hypocrisy. And, if they had been just tweeting about baseball or, the weather, like, no one would be going after them. No one would be talking about this, but they invite this kind of thing, like live by the sword, die by the sword. Or you could also say, you play with fire, you might get burnt. Get out of the kitchen if you don't want to get hot. That kind of thing is very relevant now. And the other one I wanted to point out, I thought this was interesting because, guys, this has to go viral. This is a real Domino's ad with Trump. This is like a retro ad with Trump. He's got his golden doors at his palace. He's always known to have a lot of gold at his place. I believe that's his penthouse in New York. This guy's delivering pizza. I'm not sure if there's anything to hear here, but let's check it out for a second.
Sure. Okay.
Tell you what, I'll counter that offer with an even better one. Here's the deal. You give me those 3 pizzas, only I'll give you just $5 a piece.
Sure. Okay.
Still got it, Donald.
Okay, so it's a good comedy skit. I believe the price was already $5 each for those pizzas. So he kind of like reversed the order of the deal, the way he said it, and thought he was getting a better deal. It's a joke. We don't need to explain the joke. But the point is, this is a funny coincidence, and Trump had worked with Domino's before. Domino's is a good pizza place. I mean, they actually have had a storied history. They're one of the first pizza delivery ones. I always remember them back in the day when I watched Ninja Turtles, and I loved the Turtles as a kid. And in the movie, they like sponsored the movie, and the Turtles would order pizzas. And I remember they slid it into the drains because the Ninja Turtles like lived in the sewer. But that's another story. The point is, Domino's has a lot of advertising like this, especially in the 90s. And this comes from the 90s, obviously, which is the same time period of that turtle stuff. And the other point is, Domino's did nothing wrong. They're a fine pizza place. In fact, they actually revamped over the last few years and had like really good new recipes. They enhanced their crust, like they updated everything because they recognized they needed a upgrade, and that happened. And ever since then, their pizza has been really good. And in fact, they still have a similar deal to this. They don't have $5 pizzas. It's like $6 now because, we're about 20 years later and inflation and stuff. But still, that's a pretty good deal. You could get a pizza for $6 and 2 toppings. And then they have other things like that too. And the other coincidence about this that I'll mention, I'm actually starting to get hungry now. Might have to have my Domino's leftovers after this recording. But that's what I wanted to point out. I actually coincidentally ordered Domino's just a few days before this whole incident happened. And I thought it was hilarious because I hadn't gone to Domino's in like a couple years. And it wasn't because I was against it. I don't know. I just hadn't ordered pizza in a while. And I thought of it and we got it. And me and the wife loved it. We got this good deal. We had extras for later. And then all of a sudden this story happened. And Kayleigh McEnany gets called out by Rick Wilson. And then that turns into a controversy against him with his cooler incident. And it just turned into a lot of fun stuff. And I find it really interesting, that coincidence. It's like there's this kind of like cosmic thing going around right now. And it also put up some good numbers for Domino's, some good hype for them. This actually was a reverse thing where the Rick Wilson guy wanted to cancel Domino's and Trump and Kayleigh McEnany, but it just made people like them more. Like people started talking about how Domino's was good. I've seen other people on Twitter supporting it, saying, oh, this is a good deal. I like this pizza. Order this, get the steak and jalapeno pizza. I really like the thin crust. Let's get the thick crust, but with extra sauce, or we could get their specialty chicken, barbecue chicken. You could get their, now I sound like I'm promoting them. I'm not sponsored by Domino's. I'm just a hungry guy with a big appetite, and also a love for America and freedom. And President Trump represents that, and people that go after him are the worst. That's why we're calling out this douche nozzle, Rick Wilson, who is just the most elitist loser ever. And he just won't give up. He won't quit trying. He's like too old for Twitter, and he's trying to pull these gatyas. And it's really hard to watch. It's really cringy. And I think you guys get the point. That about wraps things up. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Make sure you comment your thoughts on everything below. Tell me what you think about this tweet escapade, what you think about Domino's, Trump, Kayleigh McEnany, and the whole shebang. Comment it all below. I'll be reading. I'll be responding when I can. And also hit the like button. Get this video shared. Get people talking about it. Until next time, though, you guys have a great day. Hey guys, I wanted to take a quick moment to tell you about our new second channel. NoBS News has been really ramping up recently. We've got over 10,000 subscribers now, and it's growing each and every day. This is a new extra channel where I can give you guys more content, which includes extra videos, sometimes streams, sometimes other fun things too, clip shows, whatever you like. NoBS News is going to have it there for you. So make sure you check it out by either searching NoBS News on YouTube or clicking the link below this video. Thanks for your time. Have a good one.